Hey, it's Jim Kress with you from Integrity Redeemed Workshops. Thanks for taking a moment to watch this video. I'm here with my longtime colleague and good friend Eli Machen, and we're excited about our 2017 calendar of Integrity Redeemed Workshops for men who are struggling with pornography, any type of sexual acting out, including affairs, and also for their spouses or partners, and then for married couples to come together to work through these issues. I say often here, we have more help than you have problems. We've led workshops together for a lot of years. We have talked for so many hours about what we would like to do in our own workshops. What is the uniqueness? You've seen a lot. You're one of the co-founders of the Christian Sexual Addiction Recovery field. What do you see as the uniqueness of what we'll be doing in Integrity Redeemed?
Well, some of the things we're going to be doing that I think is really vital is addressing the trauma effects through unique therapy techniques and intensive work where they're not only just talking about and telling their story, which is vital. It's important for us who have been traumatized to tell our story, but it's important to tell our story to someone who gets it. Yeah. And so that's part of what we know. We know that research tells us that when we tell our story to someone else who gets it, our brains heal. So that's a huge piece.
I like that because talk therapy, we don't poo-poo or put down, but there's a sense, as Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, who's the leader in the trauma field, says, trauma has to be healed experientially. And if you're just tuning in and saying, what do you mean by trauma? Anything where you were wounded. That has to be healed experientially. See, you were wounded experientially, you act out experientially, and you want to be healed not just cognitively, but experientially. And you and I have been doing a lot of experiential work, leading workshops for the last several years.
Absolutely.
You talk about the latest research around trauma, but we have the latest research around the brain as well. You do a great lecture dealing with trauma and the brain. What happens when we talk about the trap door of the brain closing off and we're in what we call the limbic? Because often that's where people are acting out in that part of their brain, and we're trying to talk to their prefrontal cortex, and it just doesn't connect, does it?
It shuts down. We're in a very early age in life. We're working with that reptilian mammalian brain, that lower part of the brain, and it's a lot of emotions there. But what van der Kolk is showing us in some of his research is that the part of the brain that's really important for us to socialize and communicate and have dialogue with someone on an intimate level or an intelligent level would be is to access this front brain. And if we don't deal with that trauma, which we do in our workshop,
right, that's right,
then you won't be able to access that. And you keep doing things and asking yourself, why did I do this? And so it's like, part of the reason is that you're in a trauma response and you're doing something that the lower part of the brain says it needs or you're going to die.
And often people, I guess well-meaning, would say, well, let's just attack it from a behavioral issue or a sin issue or just a habit issue or just, come on, knock it off. You need to change. You know better issue. And yet again, most of us, I'd say all of us, those of you watching, you know what? We're really good men. It's just that we end up, it's kind of like the Wizard of Oz, Dorothy's there and says in the end, you're a very bad man. He says, no, I'm actually a very good man. I'm just a very bad wizard. You are a good man. If you're a spouse or partner watching, you're married or in a relationship with a good man who is trapped. And we're not excusing anything. But many men have tried and tried and tried to behave their way out, and they can't. We're going to go below the surface. Look at, the sexual acting out, it's just lights on the dashboard of your car. We're going to go below the hood and say, what is driving it down there? We're not going to make excuses, but we're going to be gracious. We're going to be kind, compassionate. We have years of doing this work together to come together to help you. And to help you understand, first of all, knowledge is important, to help you understand why you may be acting out, what is there, as we've said often, if it's hysterical, it's historical, what's back there in your past, right? Because what you don't work out, you act out, and then giving really practical tools for moving forward. One of the best parts of our workshop that I like is a presentation you do on the losses of a spouse, because that has been in your story. And some guys, until they hear it, I think quite frankly, hear it from another guy who lived it, to say, so this is what my wife or partner's gone through. Why is that so important in our workshop?
Well, I think that ultimately our vision is not only to see men healed from their addictions and spouses healed from their trauma, this whole experience of being gaslighted and deceived and wake up realizing they lived a life that they didn't know they lived with a person they didn't really know. That's traumatizing. So one of the things that we seek to do, and our overall thing, is to build a vision of our desire to see rebuilt marriages. And in doing so, helping the guys understand the trauma that you spouses have gone through, or your spouse has gone through, or partner, And what is that like, and how to identify, at least at some level, of what they're going through and what they're struggling with.
One of the things we do, we've said often, you have to collect the dots before you connect the dots. We do a thing called a trauma egg, which is like making a little movie of your life and looking at all of the different scenes. And we always find in a guy's life story one or two of those scenes that tie in to the very nature of how he acts out. And what we're trying to do is do fantasy contaminating, contaminate the fantasy to say you're looking for mom there, or you're looking for some past hit of lust that you've had there, because clothed and in your right mind you wouldn't be doing that level of acting out. You've got too much to lose. So we look at that, and guys have these epiphanies saying, well, no wonder, yeah, I knew that story happened back there with a babysitter or somebody who abused me, or discovering dad's porn stash. I never realized that has energized me to keep acting out. That's the main reason we'd ever go look in their past, right?
Well, that, and they always go through these trauma experiences, leaving them with a story in their head about themselves.
That's right.
And I think that's really key to the acting out and to the fantasies and the rituals that go on, is an attempt to kind of correct that message. And I think one of the powerful tools that we do in a workshop is helping them identify and pull out some of those lies that they've believed that are stories in their heads about themselves, that no one can fix other than themselves, the recovery process and healing process, and God in their lives. Hearing truth and understanding the difference between the lie and the truth. And that's something we really break down in an intense way.
We talk a lot about vision and legacy. You have a talk that you do at the end of our workshop on vision that is as good as anything you'll ever find or hear. But we talk about vision and legacy. There are two major legacies that I see in the Bible that stand kind of side by side, David and his son Solomon. And you can read this in 1 Kings 9, 10, and 11, how Solomon ended. David sinned big with his sexual sin, adultery, but he had his Psalm 51, his brokenness, and his legacy is the sweet psalmist of Israel and a man after God's own heart. Solomon with God there, David's son, same sexual sin. In the end, he marries 1,000 foreign women and sacrifices to their foreign gods, and notice who those gods were. It was deviant. And then it says that Solomon died and was buried with his fathers. So here's the issue. For you, do you want your legacy to be more like David's or more like Solomon's? You get to pick with that. We're going to help you to kind of have that David path. It's not easy to do this recovery, but what in life worth having is easy. I want you to, again, sign up right here on the website of integrityredeemed.com. There's a phone number there. You can call that phone number if you want more information. Make three things I say to guys. First, make the commitment. I'm coming to the workshop. Trust the process. Just say, I'm coming. Make the decision first. Secondly, you have to carve out the time, obviously. Carve out the time and say, I'm worth it. See, you're worth it for your legacy to be rebuilt. And of course, the third thing is, just believe that the money will come. Some of you have spent enough money in acting out that I hope you at least make a dent towards spending that much money in your recovery. The money will come. Again, you make the commitment, I'm coming. Trust the process. Secondly, you carve out the time. And thirdly, just believe the money will be there. You are worth it. There's a form right here on the website to register. There's a question and answer page here on the website. You can call if you'd like more information. Make the decision to come. And for those of you who are spouses or partners, there will be workshops coming up for you. And if you're watching as a woman, encourage your husband or your partner to come be part of this workshop. We believe, and we've dedicated our lives to this, that you better believe there is real hope. I get that question often from spouses.
Yes.
They'll say, is there really any hope? Can this guy really change? Well, a lot of guys won't, quite frankly. But like in the Bible, will you be in the remnant? That smaller group that says we will change, and you can be in that. We will help, Eli and I will help guide you through this. And we don't play around. We're here, we know we want to give you more ROI, more return on your investment than you'll see anywhere else. We'll go in, we'll shed blood for them if we could. We've done this for years, haven't we?
Absolutely. Don't wait. This mountain that you've got to climb is not going to get any smaller by waiting. Come.
And again, if you'll make the decision right here on the website, you can register, you can call if you have questions. And I'm telling you what, your legacy is shifting. Your legacy is going to be renewed, rebuilt, or as I like the word, from Psalm 26:11, that's where Integrity Redeemed comes from. David said, but as for me, not my brother, my sister, anyone else, my buddy, but as for me, I will walk in my integrity, redeem me, and be gracious to me. Your legacy is shifting even now. You're thinking about it, make the decision to come. We look forward to seeing you here. And if you wouldn't mind, some of you, maybe it's for you, you know someone who is struggling. They've found out they've been in pornography, there's been an affair. You know, this is a rampant pandemic problem in the church. And as bad as it is, Patrick Carnes, the founder of our field, says the tsunami of sex addiction has not even hit America yet. Be proactive. And pass this video on or the website information on to your pastor, to your church. Let them know we're seeing lives changed here. Thanks for watching. If we can answer some questions, you can email us through the website. We look forward to seeing you here soon in Charlotte, North Carolina in 2017 for Integrity Redeemed workshops.
Share this. Share this with your friends. There are people that need to know this too.
Thanks, Eli.